10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello everyone. Hope you all are doing great and safe at your end. Welcome to the day 4 of pre-hackathon speaker sessions. Hack this fall is hosting live workshops, talks and discussions which are already started from 26th October and will end tomorrow. You can check out our website for a complete schedule. Now, coming on to the speaker session. Real-time technologies have shaped how products are built, how businesses operate, and what it means to meet consumer expectations. Let us understand how we can employ some incredible workflows on modern product development inspired from principles and forced from the video games industry, which is 10 times larger than the Hollywood. And with that being said, let me introduce you all to our speaker for the session. We have Aritra Mukherjee joining us. He is a self-taught indie game developer, C# programmer who has worked on several game projects. Slylad Interactive startup founder, maker of Burnscape 2019, invite-only alumni of Google Indie Accelerator, former trainer and ambassador of Unity Technologies. He was also a Smart India Hackathon' 2020 mentor. He has been training and motivating technical students towards the adoption of extended reality, modern learning experiences, and inspiring the new generation to chase a career of love, enthusiasm, and empathy. We welcome you, Aritra, and look forward to your talk. The stream is all yours.
Hi everyone, a very pleasant introduction and a very warm welcome. Thanks to Abhishek. So I wouldn't cloud the stream with introducing myself again. So just a line about me. I'm Aritra Mukherjee. Yeah, right now I'm a Unity generalist at Zebu Animation. I also have an independent studio as I'm a hobbyist video game developer, which is backed up by the support of Google. So the talk I have kept about today is the topic. The name of the topic is the countdown is three, and we are going to talk about the new generation of content creators, and which is supposed to explain some of the true to real time process of this democratized game engine technology. I'll be taking you through a short journey of how the real-time disruption is being authorized industry-wide and how you too can be a part of the same. So, why am I talking with game engine technology? And keeping Unity on my side, we all know that Unity is a game engine, and some of the great games have been built on Unity. In fact, Unity claims that more than 50% of 50% of games across all platforms have been created with Unity. And not only video games, it is also one of the like one stop for augmented reality and virtual reality content right now. So it claims that more than 60% of AR VR content has been made with Unity. So how come am I speaking with a game engine for the next generation of content creators? And when I mention content creators, I'm talking about animators, I'm talking about game developers, I'm talking about video creators, I'm talking about application developers, I'm talking about the entire universe of democratized content creation. If you guessed that I'm going to talk a bit about gamification because it starts with the term game engines. It's not really gamification, or it's not about adding values of games or adding elements of a game into the content we create. It's not like you'll get a reward for booking your next Uber. We are not going to talk about gamification at all. But if you kind of guess that yes, I'm going to talk about mixed reality, you might be a bit correct. If you thought I'm going to talk about emphasize about VR experiences or augmented reality experiences, you're partially correct. Before even jumping into in depth of real-time content creation, I would like for you to understand the differences between virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. And one of the easiest, I mean, when I was at Unity, one of the easiest comparisons that I got about VR AR is that if VR is when you are going to the moon yourself, and AR is when you act and start rotating the moon yourself. So this is one of the funny differences I got about VR, AR, and MR, and you would be it's pretty intuitive that when we are talking about virtual reality, the things which are important are you as the viewer and an enclosed surrounding, that your space aside yourself is a virtually enclosed space. Augmented reality, on the other hand, is a real space on which you are imposing augmented content or digital content. On the other hand, mixed reality lets you interact with the augmented content. Let us move on to our next slide. And we are talking about the next generation of content creators. We are going through a slow revolution. If you have been noticing from the past few years, that we have seen democratization across almost all spheres. It's not like it's limited to a certain direction. It's not limited to game engine. We have seen democratization in machine learning. We have seen democratized technology in AI. We have seen democratization in uh, building applications, starting from and animation content as well. And in fact, we have seen the biggest scale of democratization through TikTok, which lets you democratize a philosophy of you being popular in front of someone. So this revolution, we have to understand that this revolution is being driven by young people like us, people who want to earn experience and who are creative people and very driven people who want to build content out there in the world. It is being driven by us. It is not driven by corporate giants, or it is not guided. It's not a guided mechanism. We are looking to the 3D real-time revolution. I was going to check out on a Royal Enfield store recently, and I found that now they have an application that completely lets you customize the appearance of the bike they are about to sell. So it makes it easier for you. So for you as a consumer, the expectation of the product increases, and the way it is being served, you don't need to go to the store. Rather, you bring the store to yourself. You pre-visualize what you're going to buy, and then it just improves the experience, the shopping experience for you. In the 1960s, we created 2D designs on 2D. We drew paper. People used to draw animations. It was all two-dimensional content. Moving forward, we learned to bring those 2D designs again through a 2D medium, which is through a screen or a monitor. And then we slowly started to revolutionize towards real 3D or real-time 3D, which is now you can touch and feel and see true three dimension in true real time, right in front of you as a part of your real world. The concept of real time applies to major business fundamentals and finally helps us create a more immediate, personalized, connected, and an experience or a product development lifecycle which is subject to constant improvement. It's not like it's not like it ends. It is a constantly improving cycle of product development. If there is no start, there is no definite stop for the final product in a true real time conceptualization of uh, content creation. Real time has mostly changed everything, and it is a method I'm talking about. It not only applies to technology, but it's a much deeper philosophy that has changed businesses across the world. It has changed how products are being built right now, and it has also raised consumer expectations. A great example to this would be Uber. You can book a cab on the fly, or let's talk about Netflix, which is one of our favorite video streaming platforms. It's not like you have to wait for the cable and you have to wait for that show timing before that show comes on your screen. You can rather just pick up a bucket of popcorn and select the and start playing it. So the show times and along with the experience of you watching the movie is completely personalized to you and is not guided by someone else. And this is exactly the reason I'm talking with a game engine. Because video games were born real time. All the characters you see, all the sets that you play with, all the levels that you go through, and the real time networking that happens. What if we visual designers, application developers, animators, and starting from modern content creators, start using such a technology that lets you visualize your imagination in true real time? Let us look at the few industries where the game engine technology or a software that supports real-time 3D rendering is shaping the future of design and manufacturing. This is a backdrop where you can see the clay model of BMW Gran Turismo. If at any point of time designers have to make a change during the process, they will have to start all over again. Like they have to throw it out and it starts building all over again. Some The director comes up or the designer comes up and says that this is not appearing that streamlined, or that should have been there, or this should have looked like this. What do you do? In that case, we see the change right here. So instead of building an exact replica of the car, designers can now have a virtual augmented model which they can customize anytime at any point, and which with advanced technology like haptics and virtual reality can be felt, touched, and the experience of designing the car would become much more realistic, much more. It is so fast that sometimes it may just reduce from 3 years of designing and development to just 6 months of conceptualization and launch. This also helps designers to work globally from different parts of the world, which is really important. And right now, standing here at 2020, we were never prepared for this pandemic. We were never prepared so much for this technology until right now. Just to note here, we have two pictures of BMWs, and you would have to guess which one is the real one and which one is rendered on Unity. Uh, you can make your guess in the comments, or I can just say that yes, the right BMW is the rendered one, and the real time with real time ray tracing on through a NVIDIA GPU. So the right one is the rendered one, as the left one is the real one here. The concept of real time has also changed video entertainment. You would not have to wait anymore for your cable television to announce the show times. All you need is a stable internet connection and popcorn. Real-time 3D is also being used in aerospace, manufacturing, defense, education, retail. You do not have to rush to the store anymore, and for online shopping, before you buy is now try before you buy. One of the most innovative applications I've seen of virtual reality and mixed reality is in defense and of course in medical studies. It improves the entire experience of learning, and we as modern designers or we as modern content creators should be aware of the fact that whenever we are creating a product, it should be much more than just I mean, what's the purpose of creating this application? You are ultimately trying to communicate with someone. You are ultimately trying to communicate with the person that you are not going to meet anywhere in their future. So this experience has to be more intuitive. And the only way I believe it can be made intuitive is by providing intuitive help with real-time 3D. I believe the communication UI has to change. The user experience is changing, and 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 we are grounding ourselves to more human elements. We are trying to ground more human elements into the factor of design. It's not just fancy buttons or fancy colors now, which are going to sell your idea or your portal for you through an application. Rather, it should be the intuitive design experience. It should be the interactive element in your design, and it should be the idea of pre-visualization that makes your consumers feel safe about what they are buying through your application. This is an application of Unity at in aero level design. So at Bel Air, they reduced the time for design of this helicopter from 6 years to 6 months. And Bel Air has been, the most like the most tough contenders when it comes to innovation in aero design. Now, for them, a reduction from 6 years to 6 months would mean hundreds and thousands of euros. That means saving hundreds and thousands of euros. We also have game engine for production users, and one of my favorite movies were also made with Unity or rendered in with using Unity, which is The Lion King. And then also slowly when Unity was started to use in production, which is also my profession right now. I by profession I'm a CG generalist, and I monitor all these workflows of where Unity is being used for rendering very high quality films, very high quality cinematics. At the back, you can see the directors of Lion King working contrary to the old production set where miniature models had to be created. And you can get such examples if you search Godzilla or if you search Star Wars, the old versions of Star Wars, on how they were created with miniature sets. Visual designers can now design and provide direction while the final output is being rendered, which means it's being rendered as fast as you're watching it. And 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 how it evolves is as you direct and as you proceed through the development cycle of filmmaking or say app development, what you keep doing is you start replacing the assets. You create a swift pipeline of where you can have a smooth flow of new assets replacing the older assets, or a newer logic replacing the older logic, while not disturbing the entire framework itself. So here we have the trailer of Lion King, which is just to show you how Unity was used for rendering. And right now we have Baymax streams as well, which was rendered on Unity, and it's been a recent launch. I've kept this image for you to refer to the manpower and the sweat that went into the production of movies using a non-real-time workflow. So by now we have realized how powerful this technology is, and it has created a new wave of disruption throughout multiple industries. It's not only aerospace, it's not only retail, it is not limited to education, it is not limited to manufacturing, it is not limited to software development. It has touched every surface, and it has and every surface has evolved after that. Netflix surpassed the number of subscribers compared to cable in 2018, and Tesla has a reported revenue of 24.6 billion as of 2019, which is crazy. And Tesla, as you know, that they are grounded to using real time on a huge scale. I mean, the entire machine learning that is going into Tesla, their thought process of bringing artificial visualization to the car so that the car can see a virtual world itself and then make its own decisions is true to real time, and they are grounded to this technology for long. The average lifespan of a Fortune 500 company is now less than 20 years. And this graph says that by 2027, 75% of the currently quoted S&P 500 would disappear. This disruption is due to technology, which means it's a bit rude to say, but then it is absolutely true based on the kind of disruption we have seen. That if you are not grounding yourself to a real-time workflow, or if you are not making your development process uh, using real-time technologies, you are at risk. The speed to market, your efficiency, and the quality you deliver are all tied to the same string. The way content is now created has reduced to three steps. Prototyping, where a team of content creators lay the foundation of a project, build and render it with a real-time engine, and pitch it directly to the investors. So the time to market is now three steps. So it's not like you have to research and develop for like months and months before you pitch it. For example, if you're working on robot design, if you are designing robots, or if you are designing a huge manufacturing unit or a huge manufacturing plant, do you have to actually get out, build that all by yourself, and then show it to the investor, or show your business idea to someone who is willing to invest in you? Absolutely no. Rather, you can take a month and create an entire digital twin with an interactive presentation so he can take a walk around through the entire room before he can actually invest in you. As such, the content creation process has changed. Contrary to real-time render pipeline, contrary to the non-real-time render pipeline, if previously including an animated content inside your application, or including a real-time, including a 3D graphics inside your application, or rendering a movie was took 40 minutes, took more than 40 minutes per frame. And that has reduced, that That has reduced to now less than 10 minutes to an entire cinematic. So you can design an entire interactive presentation or an entire interactive animatic with the resources, with the proper resources in just 24 hours. I've kept this slide for you to understand that Unity also links up with multiple other DCCs or digital content creation tools like Maya, Blender, and you can live link, if you're a video game developer, you can live link your modeling, or if you are creating digital twins. When you're creating digital twins, you would require your DCCs very often, and you can have a Maya artist or a Blender artist or any 3D modeling artist, which can who would be whose knowledge would still be preserved. If they are coming from a background of a particular software, that software can be easily integrated to Unity. To light up inside Unity is like 5 steps. You need to begin with a render pipeline, and our favorite is the high definition render pipeline. So if you haven't tried it, you should get your hands dirty on it. And then we choose the mode that defines how indirect lighting and big shadows are handled. You configure your lights, add lighting materials, reflection probes, and finally you decide whether it is going to be baked or real time. In Unity, whenever it comes to production, the pipeline is parallel. The asset pipeline is parallel when it comes to production, which means several departments like editing, animation, lighting, FX, camera can now work together. Previously, what used to happen is one department used to complete before the other department could start. But right now, with the real-time rendering pipeline, which is basically your sync, where you just throw in all the data and then make something out of it, everything can move together. Same when it comes to using Unity for application development. You can have your UI UX designer prototype instantly while they are working on the UI and UX design. So there is no step for something like a prototype application, which is like the white page application. Rather, you can directly create the application with the final user interface and the UX. And that happens just in a few clicks, which also saves a lot of time because you would then have to not write the code for visually designing the application. Rather, you can focus more on the code that would be the logical core of your application or the service that, or you can make your service stronger. You can put more focus on the service you're going to provide through the application. We have a small film of Sharman, which was rendered in Unity, which explains the rendering power as well as the different set of lighting capabilities that Unity is capable of handling. You can get the Sherman projects for free, and you can take a look through how it was developed with Unity through the Unity Asset Store. I would end my presentation emphasizing on one amazing plugin for Unity you can try, you can start trying from today, which is Perspective, which lets you create digital twins. And as you see, the kind of focus that we are observing right now with the real-time development pipeline is that you should be able to create a virtual prototype of whatever you're building. It could be an app, it could be anything, it could be an animation, it could be a video game, that create and test the digital twin of the system or the product you're building to full extent. and then validate it in real time. You need to validate it with someone. You need to validate it with your testing software or your automated testing pipeline, and then it reduces the time to market. To change your industry, the key is the time to market. Right now, what people are really looking forward is time. Is the real breakthrough exists in how less is your time to market. And give it a try. It's super fun to create digital twins, and it also like motivates us a lot because that is how we push the boundaries for modern product development. You can also take some of the amazing technologies like LIDAR and then augmented reality foundation toolkits in Unity that let you work with geoposition data, and you can come up with amazing solutions that would actually solve the world from 2020, because we are pretty sure that we are going to live in a different world from this year that started the pandemic. I'd love to take up questions now. I'll stop sharing my screen. You may write your questions in the chat.
Yeah. So that was really a great session, Aritra. So
Thanks.
let's
Thanks, Abhishek.
let's move on to Q&A sessions, and we have a question from Jui. So, what are various career opportunities as a game developer?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to divide this trajectory into two parts. Is whether you are really willing to get into the industry as in like the core industry, and you start placing yourself in a huge team. Now, when you enter this, there is there is a lot more going on there. You can be a narrator, you can be a narrative artist, narrative designer, you can be a game designer, you can be a programmer, you can be a code based designer, you can be someone who would handle all the game systems, or you can be someone who would just manage the servers, or you can be someone who would be designing UX, or be a concept artist. There is a huge I mean whenever you're thinking about getting into the industry, the first thing that you want to make sure is, where do you see yourself as a part of a huge team? And when I say it's huge, imagine it is like 5,000 people. Where do you place yourself in between those 5,000 people? How do you want to see? What do you want to work on? The best way to get into the industry, and this has been a very long advice, like this has been a very old advice. If you check all throughout the internet, you would get exactly the same advice, that you start with, you start as a junior tester, you start as a junior game tester, and then slowly work your way up as a developer. So the study of game development and game design is perhaps new, and foreign universities are also selling courses with like emphasize on the various tracks of game development. But on the other hand, there is a fun side of the game development, is that you can pick up your like full-time job, and then do independent game development as a part-time developer. And we have seen some of the amazing like successes coming like recently. Like if you look at the game called First Tree, uh, and there were many other titles which were made on an independent level. From India, we have Raji, the Ancient Epic, which was released recently. So these are titles that you can pick it up as a as a venture. You understand, you start learning a real-time engine like Unity or Unreal, and then start making games on that after building a small team, and then like make it as a completely uh, like it would become a completely new journey for you. You can become a freelance artist. You can tie up with major studios. You can seek for investments. So there's a lot of opportunity out there, and whatever I'm saying is, I mean, it is the same difficulty. I mean, you are about to face the same difficulty you will be facing if you choose any other track as well. It's equally difficult. It is just a choice or how much you're willing to go into it.
Yeah, so that was really a great answer. Like it's starting from the small and going to the big.
Yeah,
So we have next question from Dwanan. So what are the languages we need to know?
yeah. So I would really suggest you if you should really be professional with C, C++, Python, and C sharp if you are using Unity. And also, you should have a wide knowledge of several markup languages that link up with these programming languages, such as XAML. And then you should also learn different ways to manipulate and handle data. You should learn all such languages that allow you to handle data, to understand data, and to analyze data in an easier way.
So that
But,
was really a great
but the
answer.
five, I really stress upon these five first. So you start with C, C++, then C sharp, and then Python. So if you go down this track exactly sequentially, it becomes much more easier. It's like if you know C and C sharp will take you 7 days to pick up.
Yeah, that's really true. Like it's basically start from the basic languages and then go to the specialized one.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was some insightful and great
And
questions.
also if you're not like willing to learn programming, I mean, oftentimes if someone wants to become like come into the design field, there are a lot of tools that allow visual scripting, even though like professional programmers would frown upon. But we must understand that if it is an artist or designer who is willing to come into programming, visual scripting or visual scripting design is also something great, and you can get it through both these engines and available in the market.
Yeah, so Dwanan is thanking you for the answer.
Okay.
So some hackers might not have been able to join this session live,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
as the recording is going to be available for all the others, if they will have any questions, they will ask in the Discord channel. That is, we have our speaker channel. So please do have a look as when you get time.
sure.
Thanks a lot, Aritra. It was indeed a great session and had a lot to gain. So
Thanks,
I
Abhishek.
have yeah, I have one question from my side. Is there anything you would like to suggest to our hackers that hack this fall through your experience with hackathons?
Yeah. So it's always about like keeping simple, keeping it very simple. It's always the simpler ideas. It is always the ideas that like something that you can explain to a 6 year old or an 8 year old. That has always been my advice to anyone appearing on a hackathon, which is so short that you can. The reason we fail to, like, I mean, you create something and people look at that and they exclaim, "Oh, this is amazing." We oftentimes like uh, forget that this is due to how simple it is to understand. Their reaction of how good this is basically because of how simple it is to like it is effortless. Your design should be effortless to understand. Everything, whatever you do, once I look at it, I must be inspired as a developer and as a user that I should do something like that, or I should be making something like that. So if your product is inspiring other people, if your product is hitting that creative ego in someone else's mind, you are rocking it.
Yeah, so this were some valuable suggestions. It would not just help our hackers, but it would, help us, the organizing team too. Thanks once again for joining us today. It was really a great session, Q&A, and the suggestions were also really great. Thank you, Aritra.
Thank you, Vishnu.
Also, do fill the feedback form shared in the chat section, and it will also be used to assign the certificate for this session. It will be open for only 15 minutes and won't be reopened again. Thanks a lot, everyone who joined us today. Don't forget to subscribe the channel so that you can get the updates for all the workshops coming up ahead. Stay tuned. Hope to see you in the next session. Stay safe. Take care.